Can you shut that?
He's back home. He's back home. It's gas Saints, baby. Let's go. Let's go!
There we are.
I didn't know that that's how it worked, but here we are. Here we are indeed. Cheers, everybody. Long time no see. It's been a while since we've been down here in the basement as a crew. It's been a while since we've had fights to talk about or announce. And we've got a bunch of them here in-house with us. Brett Layton.
What's up, brother?
Here back on Table Titans for the first time, down in the basement of the studio. Got your name sign on the wall. Anybody who wants to come in and join anytime, whether you're fighting with us on a show or not, hit us up. We'll have you down here. We'll shoot the shit with you, and you sign the wall as well. And get onto the official Cage Titans mat that is now the Table Titans background. How you feeling, boss? A month out from the last show, which was as hectic as it got. We were able to squeeze in 17 fights in a short amount of time, have some incredible results, and here we are just about a month out from the next one. We've got some fights to drop for you people today.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty excited. Cage Titans 61 was a huge success. I took 2 weeks off afterwards, and it's like we're right back at it.
Much needed.
But honestly, Cage Titans 61, to kind of put a bow on it, it was amazing. The out-of-staters and the non-New Englands came in, really represented the heavyweight title going back to Florida, and our first ever international champion, the Canadian badass, Michael Dufort. So, congrats to those guys. And there was just so many great fights that evening. Like that knockout, we were just talking about it. We just played the highlight video for you guys from the last event, and if you missed that knockout by, Hassan Graham, as you said, it was probably one of the nastiest ones you've ever seen.
I've been doing this 8 years now at this point, and that is among the most violent knockouts that I've seen with my own two eyes. Wishing all the best for Max Lombardo in the recovery, but Hassan Graham, that was, and the fight was, with all due respect, lackluster up until that point. They were both kind of staring each other down, respecting each other's power, both knowing how dangerous each other were. The crowd was getting restless. The crowd was not appreciating the respect that they had for each other. And then all of a sudden, the craziest knockout anybody in that building has seen occurred, and everyone lost their shit. To a point where a friend of mine who came to watch the fights, Hassan Graham knocked 2 people out that night. He passed out in all the hecticness and had to get taken to the hospital, where he was there with the fighters that night because he passed out of the crazy atmosphere that Hassan Graham threw into the Memorial Hall. It was literally the loudest I had heard it go, from just an explosion point.
Yeah, honestly, were you there?
No, I wasn't.
That fight was crazy. And so this is the second time we've had 2 people get passed out in the middle of an event. The arm snap, I don't know if you remember that arm snap with The guy, Pavel, Kyle
Kyle
Pavel.
Pavel.
That play, and then when he
Against
snapped the
Lindell.
arm, and then somebody in the crowd passed out from that,
Shit.
and then the same thing happened with your buddy. But yeah, so that's crazy. I'm actually gonna queue up you guys talk about it for a second. I'm gonna queue it up right now.
The knockout.
Yeah, we gotta see it.
He
I'm gonna put it- I'm
wasn't
gonna
there
pull it
for
up.
it, but it was crazy. It was they had him out on his feet and then caught him with 2 on the way down as Lombardo was falling. It was vicious. I think everybody has seen it already, but it never really gets old. It's
All right, so they're not gonna see this yet. So just give me
all
one
right.
second.
Let it replay because Hassan immediately
All
felt
right.
bad about it.
Present. I'm gonna do slides. What do they write? All right.
Wow.
I'm gonna share my screen so you guys can see it. We're gonna go to Instagram. Boom. Share. Here we go. You guys can see that. I'm gonna add to the stage. Bam. All right, here we go.
Oh.
Oof.
And if you could get the audio on that, you can hear the crowd absolutely erupt.
All right, let's hear it. Chevy pickups happy. So there you have it. Now you guys who hadn't seen it understand what we're talking about. I do have to agree with you. I'm glad you asked for Chevy pickups. Glad you did that. Go back to that. So there you go.
And yeah, we might have some news in regards to Son Graham coming up in a little
We do,
bit.
yeah. We have some
So-
stuff that we're going to be talking about today. We got 9 pro fights that we're going to announce, and one, I mean, why he's here. But anyways, wrap it up. Cage Time 61 was amazing. I think Nick's here in studio. I think this week we got the full fight replays going up on YouTube. Usually we have to wait, just so you know, for people asking, we have to wait 2 weeks. Full event replay will be up this week. We'll make sure we post it on our social media. But anyways, we have Brett Layton in the building for obviously reasons. Cage Titans, Saturday, September. That was the last one.
November 11th.
November 11th. You got some news. What's
11-11.
going on in the world? 11-11. What's going on in the world?
So 11-11. I'm fighting Randy Francis again. We fought a couple of years ago at Mohegan Sun for reality fighting. I lost that one, but it was a really good fight. I was dominating the fight before that, and I just got caught with an armbar. So I'm really looking forward to running that one back. I'm definitely going to get the win this time. I made a lot of improvements since then. I'm sure he has as well. But yeah, I just can't wait to fucking get in there and show you guys what's up.
Yeah, we haven't seen you since you fought Joe Atala.
But I think you missed the whole biggest part of that. This is going down as a professional.
Right?
Didn't he say that?
I think
He said it. Did
Professional
I?
debut.
It's a professional debut. It's a
Yeah.
double professional debut. You and both Randy Francis are both making a pro debut.
making their pro debuts against each other in a rematch that was a dogfight to the very last second. Both guys that have been tried and tested and fought a who's who at the weight class, meeting together as pros. And this is something we were talking off air that like you got nothing but respect for Randy Francis. You guys have a mutual respect there. Team Dexter always bringing dogs and savages up from Groton, Connecticut. We haven't seen you since that fight with Joe Atala, where you really went through a dogfight in a 3-round fought decision. What kind of lessons did you learn from that made you feel ready for the jump to make that pro debut?
Well, that fight, the first round was really tough. I had to weather that storm and just be patient and just stick to the game plan that we had. I think I followed it to a T. Just stay disciplined in there. But this one, I think it's going to be a lot different. Styles make fights, and this matchup, I really like. It's going to be action-packed. I'm just looking forward to doing some stuff that I wasn't able to do the first time. And I've been working on a lot of stuff. I don't want to get too into it, obviously, but I think you guys are going to be really looking forward to this. You should be, at least. I'm about to bring it, so let's go.
Let me ask you, one thing I learned from that fight is, you came into this Cage Titans world as a wrestler, from your background, you and your brother who's over here as well. And I think what stood out for me is you showed that, hey, listen, I'm not just a wrestler anymore. You've been showing improved stand-ups every time you come out. And Atala was a guy who was lauded for his stand-up prowess. Like he should have, going into the fight, the talk was, you're just a wrestler, he's a stand-up, and you stood there and you gave it just as much as he was throwing at you. And I think that was an eye-opener for myself in seeing you improve in your game.
That felt like an off night for me as well, but I fought through all of that, and my wrestling really won that fight. But there's a lot of stuff I wish I could have done in that fight that I want to show in this one.
Yeah.
And I think I will.
You think the longer rounds are going to curtail better for you?
Yeah, definitely. I've been doing 5-minute rounds for years in the gym, at least. My cardio is really good. At the end of that fight, I wasn't even breathing heavy.
Yeah, no, you've always been in tremendous shape. You've been the distance a couple times. Who's the kid from Triforce you fought?
Mike Murphy.
Mike Murphy, yeah.
That fight was insane,
that
too.
Was another long lost dog fight. If you can find the clips of that, that was a back and forth battle where you had your chin tested, your heart tested, and you ended up coming away with the decision in that one. So you've had these wars where obviously you've shown that you have the cardio to go to the distance. And
Matt Grondin says he's so pumped for you, my brother. I don't know who it is, but I got him up there for you. So got to throw that
That's
in.
my guy.
Yeah. Nice. But yeah, that, you've always had that cardio. You always had that wrestling pedigree, and, you definitely starting to show, you're not afraid to stand and mix it up as well. You'll throw hands, kicks, whatever it takes. I remember that Mike Murphy fight, man. That highlight we played.
Was crazy.
That fight was shit. Well, name one boring fight you've ever been in.
Yeah, right. But when I knocked him down, I couldn't believe when he got up. I was like, fuck, are you fucking kidding me? He's probably the toughest dude I've ever encountered.
Yeah. That's crazy. So
that was a number of years ago. That was a throwback fight that you
like 4 years ago.
I think you do yourself
how good it was.
Actually, so you had 7 amateur fights?
Yeah.
7 amateur fights. What was your favorite amateur fight you had? Like somebody right now who's watching you for the first time and hearing this, and you're like, go watch this fight to see what you can expect from me. Maybe not necessarily skill, but just like excitement level or the type of fighter.
Wise, no doubt, was Mike Murphy.
Yeah.
Adames, that was a close second. That was a complete domination.
Which one was that one?
That was
Rafael Adames?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Rafael Adames, who's now our videographer for our behind the scenes.
Then the build up for the Atala fight.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Just made it so intense. The moment was it was really big.
Yeah, and you handled that really well, because I remember Atala was coming in heavy with the shit talk, and you kind of were just stoic about it, the whole thing, and just wait until fight night to have any talk and be done with just the fight antics. You were composed and matured in the whole build up to that, and I think that is and the way you handled all that when the lights hit and the cage door closed just shows that you are ready to take that step to the professional ranks. And I saw a couple of fights that were potentially going to happen, and then this is the final one that got signed with you and Randy Francis making the pro debuts. What do you expect out of him as an opponent?
Well, he always
brings he already fought. Yeah.
He faced so many tough guys. He had a shitload of amateur fights. He's going to be seasoned. He's going to be well coached, well schooled. He's going to be disciplined, but he's going to definitely bring it. I don't know. I'm just really excited for this. I know he's going to bring. I don't know what he's going to do to change for this fight, but you already know, they're working in the gym. Those guys, really good coaches. I have shitload of respect for all of them.
Yeah, I think, going back to that Atala fight, another thing that now that Andy brought it up, I think the maturity level you as a fighter, being composed, because I feel like maybe yesteryear's Brett Layton probably would have got more involved in the shit talking and fired up, and you just kind of were cool. Maybe 3 years ago, Brett Layton would be like, fuck this guy, I'm going to murder this guy, and kind of be get really amped up, but you were really composed, and I think that also showed a level of maturity and, somebody that's ready for the professional ranks. Rob Pico says, Brett, it's your time. And Domenico agreed that Layton versus Murphy was incredible. And of course, I got to shout out Zach Serrell. Brandon Layton's brother has an Android phone. I don't know. He just keeps, every comment is Brandon Layton's brother. I just showed something. He just keeps calling you Brandon's brother. So he's just trying to troll you, calling you Brandon's brother. Who's actually older out of the two of you?
I'm older by 28 minutes.
28 minutes.
Damn. One thing I had to add to the favorite fights, I know, me personally, might throw my brother off a little bit, but back during right when the pandemic hit, he fought in Florida couldn't get any fights around here. Just the two of us went up. I cornered him for that. He fought. What was he, a Cuban national champion?
Yeah, Lazaro Dayron. He's I think 6-0 or something as a pro. He's should be getting a shot in the UFC.
That was an intense fight, and
He knocked everyone else out.
like that was like the highest caliber person you could have fought, and you got that experience into. And like not every like good fight is gonna be a win either. Like I just saw like a lot in you and like courage and just fucking getting after it, and you're like hungrier than a lot of like mostly more than anybody like around this area.
Right, just like in wrestling, would wrestle everybody, would lose a decent amount in the off season, but by the time the season comes, like
They threw you off too. They gave you that name like the last minute too. So you didn't back out. You said fuck it and let's go.
Right.
So that's just how you are. So
fucking send it.
Yeah, you're looking for those pictures right
I'm
there.
looking for this picture.
There's a string of them. There's a string of them. There's
I
more
gotta
than just
show this
that one.
picture.
There's like 5 or 6 of them in a row. And I'll never forget when those came out, how emotional you got, Michael.
I was crying
Yeah,
when
you
this
were-
picture
yeah,
came
that
out.
was,
I'm almost crying right now thinking of the picture.
It's
Before I
crazy.
even bring
and
it up.
it is that good. Like that. There's 8 of those pictures. Not even just this one that you found right here. There's like 8 of them where you, Brandon, you're just losing your shit in like still frame after still frame, and you're just stoic in the victory with the hands raised. Just how amped you were that his name got called. And it's been great knowing you guys over the years and seeing you both fight. But something that we talked about earlier before. And
This is like a meme. It's like, get you a girl who looks at you like this. Like, but like obviously we're brothers. But like I just like you like the love that you guys share as twins. It, like you're almost more excited than he is. It
definitely was.
was
yeah,
so
there's no
insane.
question about it. You look.
I was just like, fuck, I wish I knocked this motherfucker out.
That was
That's
the
what I was
Atala fight.
thinking.
That was the
Atala fight. Yeah,
that was the Italian fight.
Because it was a close decision. I don't know if it was split or unanimous, but that is one of my favorite things on the job. Is
Should have been unanimous. I feel like.
Yeah, that's the
That's
judges,
my
though.
opinion. Everyone has their own opinion.
That is my personal favorite thing about ring announcing
Right.
is when I read the split decision and I know where it goes and nobody else does, and I get to like create that extra second. I do enjoy that. That is fun.
Dude, that photo is one of my all-time favorites because
Like,
it's just emotion.
if you
like,
find the album, you should go through the.
I'll go find the album.
Still frame of them all. There's so many of them in tandem. But
And I promised I wouldn't keep you long. What cage size was that?
that was
58?
I don't
It was
fucking
57.
Top of the year.
57.
Oh, all right.
Because we got
Look
the
at that.
poster to drop tonight too, and then we got some other pro fights to talk about.
Oh, there it is.
And where is it?
Yeah.
There we go.
Right in the
Boom.
middle, yeah.
It is. I'm gonna pull these up. Here we go. We're gonna go share, add to stage. I'm gonna delete this one. Stop screen. Sorry,
But,
I
but
gotta
yeah,
do a little everything.
we
here,
were
guys.
we were talking earlier and talking about just the maturity you brought in your last fight. But I got to commend you on 1 year of sobriety. That was some news that we heard here today when we were seeing if you guys wanted a beer or whatnot, and you guys talked about how you guys kind of went through that together and are here, and that's
Yep.
big congratulations
Yeah,
on that.
August 28th was a year for me.
Wow.
It's been like a little bit over now.
Wow.
Yeah, just a lot of shit was going down, like especially during COVID. We're just fucking off the chain.
Mhm.
We had to make a change, and we just got other stuff happen in our lives, and we ain't really handle it the right way.
You
Now-
just got sick of being sick and tired of fucking shit,
Mm-hmm.
fucking up your own life.
Let's see you
You gotta grow up one day, you know.
get sick and
Yeah.
tired of getting sick and tired.
Yeah.
That's the line.
Facts.
There you go, guys. This is what we were talking. We were talking about these photos. Like, look at that fucking face, man. Brandon,
Oh.
you are insane.
It's like keep going.
Like,
Go to
look,
the next one.
dude, this is honestly you would think you
Yes.
won the fight. It's just
Oh.
it's amazing. And honestly, look at the two of you guys
Yeah.
climbing the cage. You guys have actually made some of my favorite moments because like there was another one when you guys both got announced that we were doing a fight with you guys on the same card. You guys both got the same fight on the same card once as well.
We even made history by having you pretty much like crying on the show.
Hey, listen, man. I'm a sometimes I get emotional because I know
We
what
all
goes. Yeah, we all I know what goes into this, and
It means a lot to us.
Yeah.
Big
the
time.
those things that you guys go through, and I've got to know you over the years. outside of this as well. So, like,
Right.
you know, to see you guys mature and grow as human beings.
Road trip to
and all that
Atlanta.
stuff. Yeah.
Man, we're off the chain then.
Yeah, we all were that week.
Man, what do we got? So let's wrap up his comments because he's got to eat because this fight's going to be at 45. So you don't have to cut as much weight, so you can have some steak tips upstairs at Coop's.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you could have steak tips when you cut weight anyway.
Yep.
So
Nothing wrong with that.
Jillian, I don't know who that is. Daddy Layton can't fucking wait for the hitman to destroy this guy. Payback is a real, my boy. Do you know Jillian?
Yeah.
All right.
That's my father.
Oh, that was probably my father typing it because he doesn't have Facebook.
Oh, okay, there you go. And then you got Brandon is 100% the cooler brother.
Yeah, let's go, my papa.
And then what else we got? Ooh, that congrats guy.
One day at a time, yeah.
Yeah, I'm super pumped for this
Yes.
fight. Yeah, there you go. So a lot of people showing some support.
Oh, Melanie. Oh, yeah, shout out to them. Melanie, she works at Ben's Poorhouse in Avon. They're actually sponsoring me for this fight. I'm going to be making shirts soon as well. I'm looking for sponsors. So anyone that's seeing this, that follows me, if you're interested in supporting me for this fight camp, definitely hit me up and I'll get you on my shirts. I'll promote you guys. We'll work something out.
Yeah, man. So definitely hit him up. Brett Layton, you're on Instagram. What's your Instagram?
Brett Layton MMA.
There you go.
And just on Facebook, Brett Layton. I'm just active on those two. I have a pretty good following on both. So
Yeah. Michael Pina said win, lose, or draw. Brett always puts on a
that's
show.
my guy. Choked me out years ago when I used to do the gi.
Nice. And Rob Pico said he'll buy a shirt. Somebody actually asked this, and I think this is a fitting question. So do you want to take that?
What is it?
Why are you not letting Cam Arnold fight?
Oh, well, apparently he couldn't take the fight. I know he was like begging to fight on this card. Then all of a sudden, like his coaches weren't available. So then he said like maybe like January or whatever. But I'm focused on right now.
Yeah.
I'm not focused on him right now, but that's definitely a fight I want down the line. So
So there's your answer, Dennis. Cam did want to fight on this card. And then we were actually going to, when Andy alluded to earlier, we had a bunch of names for Brett. Cam was one of them. Brett's was like yes to anybody, like he always is. And Cam couldn't get there for this fight card. So next
definitely want to
time,
make that happen.
yeah, we'll maybe make that future. But
one
we
fight
got
at a time. Not
November
gonna get
11th.
ahead of
Oh,
myself.
there's
Cam Arnold right there, saying
on cue.
January. Hope all
January.
is well, Killer Cam Arnold. Definitely hope
So.
to see you back in Cage Titans
Oh
soon.
yeah.
I was excited for that fight, but I kind of like this rematch with Raiden Francis
Right.
a lot as well. Always
Yeah, I'll
excited to
take
see Team Dexter rolling up
Oh yeah.
anytime. So I know that this is going to be a fight between two guys that respect the shit out of each other, who know a lot about each other, have already fought each other, and can't wait to see you guys throw down as pros.
No
and
doubt.
call it
Reddy's
action,
calling
man.
this. Reddy's calling this the people's main event.
Oh shit.
There you go.
You say ready?
Is that how you?
Oh,
call
that's
it?
my boy. Yeah.
There you
Yo,
go.
what's up, ready?
So there you go. You got all kinds of support. So man, we appreciate you coming down.
Yeah.
Appreciate you bringing the crew, your brother over here as well, chiming in. And he says he might be back in January.
Yep.
So there we go. Maybe we'll get a little Layton twins on the same
Yeah.
card.
Someone called my brother out too. So just stay tuned. Both of us will probably try and get on that January card. So we're getting busy again.
There you go.
Back in
Let's go.
business. Let's fucking go.
I like it. I like it.
Aaron Hughes. I think you've been training a little bit with him.
I was a lot. Yeah.
He said he's the people's main event, but he said sorry, but he's the people's main event. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But let's go. We got a stack card that we're going to be breaking down in a few minutes. We got the poster we're going to drop. So any last parting shots that you want to, mention? Anything? You mentioned sponsors. Anybody?
You're also free to hang out too.
If you want to hang out.
We'll
Yeah.
just shout out to Ben's Poorhouse again. Me and my girl and my brother, we go play pool there a lot. It's wicked good atmosphere. If you're around that area, definitely stop by. I'm just looking for more sponsors as well. Like I said, and just shout out to all my coaches and teammates from all different gyms. I do a lot of cross training, so yeah, shout out to everybody,
And
my family, my girlfriend, my brother. You guys all make this way easier than it could be.
awesome. All right. Well, Dennis Bowdry has one question for you before he lets you go. He said, "How's this fight camp differ from your last fights?"
It's top secret information, son.
There you go.
That's a good way to keep it as a man. A few words right there.
Zach Cyril wants to know how
Were you a
often
spy? Were you a cop?
Zach Cyril wants to know how often you beat up Pat Gilbride.
He kicks my ass every time.
And Dennis definitely had a laugh.
And he's
at
scrapping this weekend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we'll be
Spoke for
there.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. Yeah, I'm bought tickets for that. Sweet.
Oh man, Cliff
Friday? Is
Peters.
that Friday?
Fuck this dude up.
Don't
that
get
Friday?
jammed up, your boy.
I'm about to jam him up.
Is it Friday?
Yeah,
Like
CES
Friday?
is on Friday. Yep,
Friday, you see your buddy, your training partner,
Oxford?
right.
Gilbride.
Yeah,
Foxwoods.
actually, yeah. Big shout out to Pat Gilbride. Actually, he's one of my main training partners for probably about 4 or 5 years now. Out of everyone I've trained with, minus my brother, of course, I would say he's definitely the most consistent and most reliable training partner I've ever had, and with advice on fighting and outside of the cage. He's a really smart dude, and he's a fucking good friend to me. So shout out to you, Pat.
Yeah, shout out to Pat Gilbride and wish him the best this weekend. There you go. So Dennis said it's going to be a banger for sure, and Matt said can't wait to see Hitman in action. So we can't wait for the Hitman. But we got a bunch of other fights to talk about. We got a poster to drop. So yeah, you can stick around, or you want to go get food, whatever, with your crew.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go get some steak tips.
Nice.
Yeah, actually stop by Coops too. I know Pull Bear owns this place or whatever. I don't know, but, yeah, they have the fucking best food. I'm about to go eat right now. So
All right.
yeah, with that, I'll
Big
see you
Mikey
guys
said
later.
get the wings. Make sure you take your mic off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My man, we'll see you soon.
Walk off
I'll talk
with
to you
that.
this week.
And again, congrats again on one of you guys.
Thank
Seriously,
you.
keep coming.
Appreciate it.
Keep coming.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I'll see. Well, by the time we're done, we'll see you upstairs.
Yeah,
We'll see you upstairs. You know how to get out?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. There you go, my man. I'll see you in a little bit. There you go. So
Layton out, Hyler in.
there we go. Nick Kyler, thank you so much. We'll see you in a little bit. There you go. Thanks, everyone. Excited to see you making your baby bread. Enjoy the steak tips. I'll be by next week for some. Yes, we'll hold you to that. Brad, come by for some steak tips. Maybe come in on Monday. We can have you as a guest, sign the wall.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Yeah, man. Talk about your fight.
Yeah.
So Nick's in the building now. Andy, we got the beanie crew. Somebody mentioned earlier you look like you were in a headband.
Wearing a headband, me?
Yeah.
Like a hippie? Nah.
Yeah,
It's
so
just
there
I got
we
the
go.
hat hair, so I'm keeping it hatted.
So-
That's all.
I'm gonna throw up the poster because we've been talking about dropping the poster. So
I'll drop.
boom, there you go.
Fuck you, Zach Searle.
All right.
Fight me.
So here we go. There you go. There's the posters. I'll drop them again later. But there you go. And shout out to Montreal. James, too cold.
Too cold.
Definitely look to get him. I actually sent him a message
Um,
earlier today.
Couple of 170 scraps. I think look fun for Montreal. Too cold, James, to come back up.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, man, we'll definitely be in touch once I get off air. Probably tomorrow morning, I'll touch base with you, Montreal, see what we got working for you. He wants to come up on November 11th. But anyways, we got some fights to discuss. I got, like I said, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pro fights, and I got 2 more that we're adding. So this is going to be a huge pro card, mainly pros. Ryan Torrance, who I shot out earlier a couple minutes ago, he's one of our amateur fighters that'll be on the card. So we'll probably have about 5 or 6 amateur fights. And then we're going to be pretty heavy with the pros. I'm excited for this one. I'm just going to start right from it. We've been talking about this for a long time,
Right.
and we have never got 2 willing participants. We either get one guy that says yes and one guy that says no, or vice versa. But small glove, MMA glove Muay Thai is finally going to happen at Cage Titans. This is a variance that I worked with the state on back in 2019 prior to COVID to get it approved here in Massachusetts. We got it approved, then COVID hit. Then after COVID, we were just focused on getting the MMA back. Then when we started introducing Muay Thai back last year, it was like one guy wanted big gloves, one guy wanted small gloves, and we could just never get the fight to happen. But we're finally going to have the first MMA glove Muay Thai fight. Sean Schubert out of Red Seal Martial Arts is taking on Mike Taylor out of Brojo out of New York.
I see you, Keegan. Yeah,
I
we
see
know
Keegan. I
you've
need
already
Keegan. Yes.
been in New England, but for Cage Titans, this is the first one.
So yeah, Keegan has asked to get on it. So if anybody's at 55 that wants to take on Keegan, maybe Montreal James, we can put something together. But yeah, man, this is something that's been super exciting. Mike Taylor is boxed. He's done MMA and kind of like, he's very similar. What some people don't know about Sean Schubert, Sean Schubert fought at Cage Titans 3. I said that to Nick earlier. Nick was like, I thought that was a typo. And I'm like, no, it's legit. He fought at Cage Titans 3 back in 2011. And he's kind of getting to the tail end of his career. I don't want to make any announcements for him, but I know he's kind of winding his career down. And yeah, he's looking to get in there and do it. We're probably about 30 minutes from his gym. So I'm stoked that we're finally able to get this fight together. And yeah, man, Mike Taylor, Sean Schubert, there you have it. For those who don't know where I think I was going with it, in addition to Cage Titans 3, Mike Taylor and Sean Schubert kind of have similar MMA careers. Like Sean Schubert, I think, was like 0-5, 0-6 as an MMA fighter because the MO was just take him down. No one wanted to stand with him, and they would just shoot on him, take him down, get submitted. And that's why he transitioned from – he basically took everything he liked from MMA, which was a stand-up, and transitioned to a Muay Thai fighter. And I think Mike Taylor is very similar. Mike Taylor, you know, he'll stand and bang with anybody, and then typically when the fight goes to the ground, that's where he has some shortcomings. He's had some decent success in boxing, and I think that he's a perfect opponent for Schubert to kind of welcome this sport in, and I think this is going to be a fun one.
Yeah. Mike Taylor been looking for a dance partner to stand and trade with, and Sean Schubert is as willing and hoping as a participant in that regard as any. Always game to see Mike Titan Taylor back at Cage Titans. This would be an extremely commendable.
I'm actually going to try to make a fight right now. You guys keep talking.
First victory for him at Cage Titans. This would be a huge one for him. And Sean Schubert, like you mentioned, not making announcements, but if this is getting towards the end, this would be a big send-off for him. Respect both guys as warriors, and I'm looking forward to them being the inaugural small glove Muay Thai fight, standing 8 counts, little gloves, no grappling. It's going to make for a time. I'm stoked for it to finally make its inaugural voyage.
Yeah. And then you just think about like what this also just signifies is the start of this new division, because amateur kickboxing has been so amazing since we've added it, and now people have been clamoring for small gloves Muay Thai, and a lot of guys, you could see some guys transfer over to MMA and say, hey, I'd rather do this. Or we might even see some guys come back after a long time and be like, hey, you know what? Small gloves Muay Thai sounds like a fun time. Give me a fight. So I just think it opens up a lot of fun possibilities for the future. And it's a great attraction that makes this card really special.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be great. It's something that we've been pushing for, it's honestly 4 years in the making to finally happen. Yes, Keegan, you did fought on Cage Titans 1. You have in Montreal. I actually just sent your name off to somebody. We might make a fight right here.
Oh, yeah, shit.
So, well, I had to jump at the opportunity, and everybody that is DMing me while I'm on the show, I only picked up my phone to DM about this fight. I'm not going to reply to you while I'm on air. I'll get to you afterwards. And Aaron Hughes loves Nick Heiler.
Love you too, Aaron. Love you too, Aaron.
Get to that
There
fight
you
in a
go.
minute.
And you three are all legends in Cage Titans in your own ways. Actually, speaking of being legends, it was pretty cool this weekend. Andy had his comedy show here at Coop's Bar and Grill, and some guys just talking to Andy like, I was at Cage Titans, and like he's just like blowing Andy up, and they're like talking outside the bar. And then Andy's just like, they're just talking fights and all the fights he's been to.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, roped him in, and like 4 other people came in, saw the show for a bit, and until somebody walked them. But they, but it happens. It was fun. I got recognized at my day job for being a Cage Titans guy recently. Like, oh my God, you're the Cage Titans guy. I'm like, oh,
I wish I remember the guy's name because I'm talking to him and he's just like enamored talking to Andy, and Andy's like,
oh yeah. And then I was like, this is the guy that owns it right here. And he's like, oh no shit.
then the guy's from Plymouth.
Yeah.
He
knew
was
Greg Jones. He knew a bunch of people.
Shane,
but yeah,
Shane Mulligan.
He wasn't leaving me alone for a bit, and that was
he was
funny,
a cool dude.
He was a real cool dude.
I was at a wedding in Plymouth and I just stopped in, and before I even got to my crew, somebody stopped me on the way. It's like, yo, Nick, dude, it's so crazy. I did not see you at Cage Titans, but it's just like it is kind of weird how much this stretches.
Yeah,
literally had
definitely
a
was.
new employee at work even be like, oh my God, you're the Cage Titans guy. I was like,
Yeah, a guy that I work with, it's like, wait a minute, Jack Kong did? It's like from Lakeville.
I think Dennis, man, you're the fan of the day today. You're actually bring up a good thing. So before I get to the MMA fight, so that Mike Taylor versus Sean Schubert will be a professional MMA glove Muay Thai fight. So they'll be wearing the professional 4-ounce gloves. He mentioned, Dennis just says, this is why I love Cage Titans, it's true combat promotions. So with that being said, before we get to the fights, we have a big grappling match. Actually, it's not even on our paper, so you guys don't even know about it.
No, I don't.
I believe he was an Olympic medalist. Rick Hahn will be grappling a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and I think he was an Olympic medalist, a bronze medalist maybe, in judo. And he was also back when the Bellator used to do the tournaments back in the day. He will be grappling Leon Davis, black belt out of Triforce. So a huge grappling match. And we haven't done like a big name grappling match in a long time. I think Devin Powell grappled Trevor Goody. You know, that was like the last time we did like a named grappler. We did some grappling matches at Combat Night.
Yeah, you could say like Cupcakes Diaz and the Gi was really
that was a good one.
Yeah.
We have had some good ones. But
So-
yeah, it's been a while since we've had like a real marquee grappling super fight between two big name guys like that. So all right.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, going into 2024.
Fun?
Yeah, it's a
See
fun
more
one.
Muay Thai, more jiu-jitsu, more big matchups.
And then we're going to do the kids grappling match to start off the night. I got 2 little girls that are going to be kicking it off from Lakeville. And then we're working on, actually, I'm going to pick up my phone one more time. I'm looking for a teenage boy, 135 to 140, 12 years old, orange belt. So I'm looking for somebody to grapple him. He grappled for us before, so we're looking for another matchup. So we'll have 2 kids matches open the night. This Rick Hahn and Leon Davis super fight, which is it's a legit super fight. We'll have that sprinkled in somewhat throughout the night as well. So there you go.
Oh, look at Aaron Hughes throwing.
Yeah.
some
There you
names
go.
out there.
Perfect. The 12-year-old I'm looking to match is a boy. I'm not opposed to boy versus girl, just to be clear.
Will we ever do kids Muay Thai? See, that's picking up soon. Like to kick off the show. We'll table that.
Table that. Montreal James said he's not leaving until I get an answer.
Too cold. Determined.
I'm not going to keep looking at my phone because we have a lot of stuff to do. So, anyways,
Yeah, we got another fight. We're on match.
Well,
What?
hold on. No, we're going to go to this one because he brought it up. So we're going to go to it. Dennis Baudry, the star of the night. Why don't we go right into it? The next one on the paper. Go
That's
ahead,
what I
Andy.
mean. The next one on the paper.
I know, I wanted to get the comment.
All right, got the comment up. Poof is making the professional. Well, no, he's made
It's
his
not
pro
his
debut.
pro
It's not
debut,
his
but-
pro debut, but he's coming back to Cage Titans as a pro, and he's taking on his last opponent at Cage Titans in Oscar Vera, who we saw go toe-to-toe with Miguel Savison in Miguel's professional debut. Blackened Miguel's eye up pretty good. Definitely gave him a lump. It was a crazy back and forth battle on the feet. Miguel ultimately got the better of it on the ground with the ground and pound finish, but Oscar Vera exploded onto the scene. Definitely won the respect of the crowd with the hands that he's willing to throw and the firefight he is willing to engage in. And Kyle Pufal will definitely welcome that firefight with open arms and closed fists and engage in that firefight with him. This one is going to be a barn burner. Don't blink. I don't anticipate this one getting out of the first round, despite whoever finishes it. Both guys are do or die attitude in that fight, and I can't wait to see Kyle Pufal back at Cage Titans this time as a pro. You've talked about it so often over the years of developing the new crop of talent and having throngs of people go from the amateur to professional ranks. And we've got this new wave of pros that are making their debuts, 1-0, 2-0, got a 3-0 fighting for a belt right here that was an amateur just a short year ago. And it's crazy to see.
Shout out to anybody who can come up with the comment that I usually say.
Coming to fruition on paper right here. What comment that you
The comment that I always say, what I always mention when we talk about the talent and like
you got to keep backfilling.
Backfilled a lot. You took it.
Backfilled a lot.
Backfilled a lot. You always got to backfill a lot with talent. But yeah, man, I think Oscar Vera really impressed me last show. Like, you know, going into that fight, people looking at his record, like, oh, come on, this is just like a rollover for Miguel in his pro debut. And he came out guns blazing, and I think he shocked a lot of people, and I think that earned him another shot to come back at Cage Titans. And Pafal, it's an interesting thing because Miguel beat Pafal. So, you know, you try to play that MMA math game. It's interesting to see how these two could line up against each other. And I think we're, like Andy said, we're going to get a firefight because, you know, Miguel and Pafal was a firefight, and him and Oscar Vera was a firefight. So it makes perfect sense. All day, Drew Moraes. I'm pretty sure that's you because I can tell by your picture. Whenever you're ready to come back, I thought you were retired, so we would love to have you.
That would be a big return.
Yeah. Oh, actually, Aaron, look at that. We are already making fights all day MMA. After I beat this dude, we can run it. So Drew Murray, Aaron Hughes.
Making our jobs easy, huh?
Yeah, it makes my job easy. And I got to shout out Oscar Vera, pizza face Miguel. That's a funny one.
That was not bad. Zach Searle.
I mean, Miggs in the pros fight press conference immediately said, like, the first thing he said is like, guy hits like a truck, man.
Yeah.
And I think he came out there really fiery, put on the show, and just kind of be like, okay, no, there's something there. And then I'm super excited to see Pufal. I mean, Nostos right now, they have a killer 170 room with him, Brody, Hill, and then you also have David Burke who's in that mix. And you wonder what's like, why are these guys so vicious? Why are these guys? It's like, well, if those are your main trading partners, most of the time, you're going to come out firing. So, yeah, dude, super excited to see Poof the God as a pro. Man.
Poof the God. There you go.
Poof the God.
Yeah, we talked about this fight already. Brett Layton making his pro debut against Randy Francis, also making his pro debut, a rematch of amateurs that took place in Connecticut a few years back. We had Brett on just a few moments ago talking about what you can expect out of him and what he's going to bring to the table, giving him accolades for the fights. But Randy Francis, somebody with 15 amateur fights under his belt right there, fought absolutely every single name at a couple different weight classes. I remember his fight with Valdina, you know, like you said, Layton down at Reality, down in Connecticut. He's fought a who's who. He's coming from one of the most tested camps in New England, pound for pound, I'd say. They just don't say no to anybody to do that at Team Dexter, Valley Tudo. Always excited to see this crew roll up, and Randy Francis definitely has put in the work to get this pro debut underway, and I think he's going to find a lot of success in this new element of his fight career.
I mean, unreal Amy run, man. He fought everybody, Randy. He fought everybody tough. And that's the biggest thing. And, you know, that's what you want to see out of your amateur. So that's going in as a pro, really good. But Brett, the same thing. You look at, well, he was fighting Shane Doherty his second fight in, wasn't he? Yeah, just both guys.
Might have even been his debut, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, maybe. Let's go back.
Shane Doherty.
He debuted against Shane Doherty, and then he went against Alpha Adams. I'm like, like these guys, they just only took tough tests, which is what you want to see out of your amateurs, which makes you even more excited to see them as pros. And also, we love this. It's been the theme of 2023. Like, you know, nobody's looking to get around anybody or walk away from anybody. These guys are kicking off their pro careers against both guys that they know. It's like, no, they're both very, very good. So,
yeah, I love it. Love it. So, actually, here we go. It was a blast last time I was out there, even though Alex Davison didn't have the finish he was going for. But with every obstacle comes new adventures.
And you
funny you mentioned that, Neil.
I mean, we got one fight in between.
Well, let's go right to it.
Let's go skip right over to it because Alex Davison is making his return to Cage Titans right here as a heavyweight. A1 did not get the result he wanted against Daniel Mola in his Cage Titans debut, but this is a guy who's gone 3 rounds with a world champion right here in Jamal Hill, and he's making his return back to Cage Titans against somebody who went as viral can get, who we talked about earlier, who probably set the decibel level record when it comes to prominence. You know, it's been loud in that building. I can't say it's louder than some of the intros to the opening of the main cards that we've had over the years. But for how cricketed the room was in response to the action of the fight, or the lack thereof, leading up to that knockout, to all of a sudden the most violent thing everybody in that crowd has seen, Hassan Graham took it to new heights. It was nothing to everything like that.
Yeah.
And it was, I'll never forget it, completely blown away by it, still reverberating from that moment. And to see him taking on A1 in this fight right here at heavyweight, this is another
Alex Davidson,
crazy heavyweight fight where you can't blink, because Alex Davidson is a crisp striker who throws right down the pipe, well-rounded in his own right. So this is a heavyweight fight that you already knew, even if not much is going on, and two heavyweights are staring each other down and not quite pulling the trigger, both respecting the power. You know why they respect the power.
Yep.
Because in a second's notice, you're taking an involuntary nap.
Yeah.
So this one, circle this heavyweight.
Alex Davidson has been asking. He wanted to get on the last card. He wanted to get on the card before that. He trains up with Nostos, but I think he's a football coach or he's a wrestling coach. So sometimes his availability isn't always there, but this was the stars aligned for this fight. This is a fight that they asked for. That's what Nick mentioned earlier, and I've been mentioning it all year. Like, the whole hiding and padding your record days seem to be gone. Like, this new 2023 and 2022, like, guys are like, listen, I want to fight. I want to fight tough guys. They're calling out for tough fights. And Hassan Graham versus Alex Davidson is going to be a great one that I'm pretty stoked about. So, yeah.
And I love that mantra that you said. Everybody's fighting everybody nowadays. Nobody is like, fuck that. I don't want to use the name. I want to take on the best. I want to test myself. And I love that. And that's a testament to this next fight that's taking place at 170 pounds.
I mean, on that note, I will say, because our buddy Dennis is a Nosos guy. But anyways, it came up. Mike Dexter is will fight everybody. Their t-shirts say "will fight everybody." So we're trying to make a fight right now, and I was like, hey, well, I'm not sure if this fight will make sense because they're trying to set up some cross training. He's like, fuck cross training. Mike Dexter says that. He goes, I don't fucking care. A fight's a fight. He's like, who cares about cross training? He's like, I don't play those games. We fighting. And I'm like, okay, I'll throw it back in their lap and tell him that you said that. And it was just funny. But yeah, man, these guys.
Wait, what was this? He said that about what? It was.
I'm not going to mention the names.
But everybody's doing
a fight that's yet to be matched
no,
up. Or
yeah,
a fight that,
all
right. So, but I like. All right, I get it. I like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, it's pretty cool. But yeah, man, these guys are just like, back in the day, that's what used to happen a lot. People would be like, yo, I'm going to cross train with you. Or like, I was at the same gym in the parking lot as that guy one time, and I can't fight him. But now, like, Dexter's are just like, he can cross train, but no, we're fighting him no matter what. The answer is yes. So, anywho, moving on.
I like it.
This fight is a great fight.
We're going
to go right back to this one.
Yes.
Sam Watford out of FAA, Connecticut, taking on Aaron Earthquake Trussell out of Sidya Tong. Earthquake did some great things. He had that amazing fight with Delahaye. He went to an absolute war at Combat FC with Sage Philippe. This kid's a stud, and we've seen Sam. We've seen Sam beat Pat Casey. We saw him come up short a little bit against Cam Rosnicki, but this kid is a stud. They both, Sam will fight anybody, anytime, anywhere. And when he fights at 170, he shows up fully clothed the day of the fights.
Yeah. Weighing
170.
And he's got such a dynamic style, very unique. He's got a traditional background, and the way he pieces those attacks into his fight game is as flawless as I've seen when it comes to the success rate that he has for some of these strikes. Rosnicki got the better of him. Was able to close the distance and get the submission victory. But his fight before that with Pat Casey, who was fighting for a title on this night, another big win could propel Sam Watford right back into the upper echelon of the 170-pound division, get back on to a win streak with the momentum that he was carrying before his last fight. And Aaron Trussell trying to come back and collect that same momentum that he had last time he was out of Cage Titans himself. That was a big dominant win over Shane Delahaye in his first ever fight at Cage Titans. Took a setback against Sage Philippe, who is now streaking as well. just like we were saying, everybody's fighting everybody nowadays.
Yep.
And this is another one of those fights where you got two guys that are sub 500 in the record, but very dangerous and capable of beating anybody in the division on any given day.
Yep.
You could throw these guys in the mix with anybody, and you can't take them lightly when you look at their record on paper. And I think that they match up interestingly. Watford's got that kind of elusive traditional style, whereas Trissell has got more of a vintage Muay Thai type style where he's going to be coming forward, really tight with the defense, throw some big shots in big combinations, and if it gets to the ground, he is absolutely vicious when it comes to top pressure and ground and pound. So I think that this is going to be a bull and matador type situation between these two, and it's another interesting fight
And also-
of different striking styles. I can't wait to call.
Oh yeah, and also just how fun is Pro 170 right now?
Yeah.
Because we're looking at the co-main event between Jack Congdon and Pat Casey, and then we're thinking about, all right, well then what's after that? Well, Aaron Trissell, and then you have Sam Watford, who rightfully can be like, it's like, hey, me and Pat, if it goes that way, I definitely want that one. But then also we were talking about, hey, Sage Philippe is still out there. We're still
Cam Rosnicki's out there.
Cam Rosnicki is still out there. In the
Somebody asked
shadows
earlier
working.
about Sean Lally.
Dude, like 170 is a shark tank at pro right now. And the biggest thing is, like you said, everybody's fighting everybody. Nobody's going to be ducking. So there's going to be a lot of fun matchups coming off of this card.
And Hassan said killer mode fully activated. We're definitely looking forward to seeing the bounty hunter back in action. Zach Searle said he'll be the stand-in opponent. So
Why can't Cyril? You and I can do it.
So there you go. So we got 4 fights to talk about, but these are all fights that have all been.
Fight Cyril at Cage Titans?
Sure.
Let's do it.
We have 4 fights to talk about. We were going to keep it to an hour. So we got 8 minutes. These fights, we're going to get more in depth in the upcoming weeks. They've already been announced. So these aren't new to your ears. So we're just going to run down them real quick. We have Casey Norton, 3-1 out of Ascension Athletics, taking on undefeated Joe Poria out of Lausanne.
Talk about who's fighting
4-0.
These guys are right on the cusp and top prospect, and the records are reflecting it. Anybody who wins this fight could be right on the short list for another Contender Series fight, or propel
Short list
them
for the winner of the main event.
Yep, no doubt.
And again, this is a great fight. These are, and I think I talked about it this past week. Why guys are, I think, some people look at the Contender Series as like they like it, and some other people are like, oh man, it's pushing guys too quick. For us, back in the day, you'd have to get a guy to 9-0, 11-0 to get them to the UFC or somewhere on a shot, or hope that an Ultimate Fighter series was coming out at your weight class. Now like the path is clear for these fighters. Like you can get to that number 5-0 and be on a Contender Series and try to punch your ticket. So you see guys getting a 3-4-0, 3-1 like a Casey Norton, or 3-0 like Jack Congdon, who we'll talk about later. A la Manny Bermudez, great example. He was 12-0 when he finally got in. Every fight was like, what's next? What's next? What's next? And but now you get a guy to 3-4-0, 5-0. And it's like they could be right there for Contender Series next spring, next summer. So there's a more clear path, which is, hey, get a couple wins under your belt for your first couple fights, then kind of jump a little bit up, and then jump a little bit up. And, there's not as much can crushing and padding of records. And the other thing is Sean Shelby messaged, I got the email directly. It was like, if you're not beating quality guys or even Contender Series guys that we've been looking at for Contender Series, like, don't even contact us. Like the list of people who are fighting killers to get to 5-0. Like you can fight tough guys to get to 5-0. You don't need to fight 5 guys that are all 0-12 or whatever. So it's clear the pathways there. So I think it's forcing guys to take.
And
risks.
that makes for better prospects for the Contender Series, and it also makes it better for the regional series, regional promotions everywhere, because now guys are incentivized to take meaningful, good fights at an early stage, and then also keep pushing that limit. Now our titles the precedent has been set. They're looking for sub 25-year-old guys that are around 6-0, 7-0, or they're looking for guys that have double-digit wins with less than 5 losses and a regional title.
Yeah.
So, but the fact that it's much clearer, I think it's pushing these guys to be like, okay, it's within reach. It's not a pipe dream.
And when you see the percentages of fighters on the roster in the UFC, which is obviously the largest MMA promotion by brand, by prowess in the globe, and I don't see anything touching that. So it's like, yeah, I love MMA as a sport as a whole, but the whole goal is to be a UFC champion. That is the sport of MMA. Oh, you do UFC. It's still to this day gets confused with the two. So sorry. The brand is bigger than anybody. No fighter is bigger than the brand. The brand is the brand, and it's the UFC. And the 30% of the roster of the UFC has gotten onto the roster through the Contenders. It is on paper, undisputable. That is the pathway to success, to get onto the roster of the premier organization for the sport that we're all involved in. And the way you do it is just like you said, you got to fight quality competition, and you got to fight in front of Dana White. And he doesn't look at everybody that's 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, 6-0, different ages, the same. You look at Conor Matthews, he doesn't fit the demographic that he's looking to sign. 31 years old.
He actually said that.
Huh?
He actually said that in his post fight.
And it's like, not exactly
he's
what
not
he's
my
looking
guy,
for. But you can't deny someone like that. It's not like they're out of the realm. Don't give up if you're 30 years old, 33, 34 years old, and you don't think that you have the youth behind you anymore. Yeah. No, that's still your prime. They're looking to sign people to develop them so they hit a stride in their prime while they're under the banner. But don't think that they're not going to give you an opportunity to at least cash in on some big fights. If you do so, that's it. You got to fight the who's who.
I think the other part of that is that, again, you brought up Conor, and there's been other guys.
Big congrats, by the way.
Yeah.
Bad news, Conor Matthews. I don't think we even touched on that.
2011 he started.
Cage Titans like 4, I think he fought on. But either way, you know, guy like Conor, even guy like Mitch, who we'll talk about later, is like, just because you go on the, like, it's not like you go to 4-5-0, get on the Contender, and if you lose that, you're done. Like, so your dreams are shattered. You can
lose
come
on the
back.
Contender.
You can even get signed on the Contender.
Dana signed a couple people who lost right to the Contender. The guy from Bolivia was the biggest one there. I forget his name off the top of my head, but he got the shit kicked out of him for 3 rounds and was such a dog right there that just the heart, the fact that he doesn't train at a premier gym is what got him signed. It's like, if you got that kind of dog in you that is uncoachable, unteachable, and you're training out of a place that they're not really teaching you or coaching you properly, I can't wait to see what that dog can do when he gets some proper coaching and training under him. So Dana is an enigma. He's going to just do whatever the fuck he pleases when the day comes, and you know what's going to impress him. Have heart. Show up to fight. Show up with a desire to win, and don't fucking stop. Yep. And the best way to get prepared for that job interview is to show up, fight everybody that's in front of you, let the crowd go nuts, and don't fucking stop. That's it.
So there you go.
Enough of my amateur take.
So
on
at the end of the day, you know, the moral of the story is like, you know, Carlos said it, the right 5-0 is not the old 5-0. Like, you know, 5-0 when you've not fought a guy with a pulse, and that might have been the old way of going. Like, you can get 5-0, and you can even be 4-1, 5-1. Conor was 6-1. You know, they're like, you don't have to have, like, if you fight the right guys, the tough guys, and push yourself and prove that you belong there, that's a good thing now. You don't have to shy away from tough fights. And I think that the pathway being the most clear, because like back in the day, you know, when we started in 2010, Cage Titans, like, how do you get to a guy to UFC? It's just like, I don't know, just keep fighting. And it's just like, all right, cool, keep fighting. But until when? Where's the finish line? Well, there's no finish line. Just if they feel on a whim that email crossed their desk at the right time, at the right place, you might get a shot. And now it's like, all right, cool. You know what? The Contender Series just wrapped up. They're going to start next July, August. Here you go. Plot your next year or your next 8 months.
Okay.
What type of fights you want to have? Hassan actually came right to me and he's like, I got a 3-fight, 4-fight plan. Like right now, what I want to do to try to get to
Look
that.
at Joe Poirier, 5-0 this year. He made his pro debut to start things off, and he's just rolling. And if he keeps that same pace, it's like you're talking about a possible 10-0 guy before he even gets there. That's within a 2-year space.
Think about it. We get November, January, March, May. There's 4 fight cards right here where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 to 7 fighters on here. That could in July that could get to potentially 8, 9, 10 and 0.
Christian, hit me up when you're ready to come back. We're dying to have you.
Is that Echevarria?
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it's crazy. It's a good time, and I think this has just helped pave, and if guys get there and it's too early. I remember that when the Contender Series really was kind of starting to pop off. It's like, you're taking guys too early. It's like, well, are they? Like, I don't think so. I think it's great.
Well, I think it's great that they're signing the younger guys like that, and you look comparably to guys that were fighting for UFC titles 15 years ago. What's the guys that are getting signed right now would destroy some of these people that fought for the title 15, 20 years ago. It just didn't.
Bo Nickel could be stepping in and fight for title at 3-0.
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
how it was back in the day. So I think that the sport's evolving in tandem with the growth that is taking place. So I like the new method of new talent that goes into the big show, and I love and I'm proud to be part of an organization that is developing that talent for that stage, because this next fight.
I'm going to go to the next one. Let this guy introduce this next one, because
this is the social media.
This is the social media fight of the night.
Social media guy.
Marcel Romero is watching patiently. I'm working on it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Muse and Hughes, man. I mean,
Muse and Hughes.
Dude, it already reminds. I mean, really, I'm always trying to twist guys. Like, hey, can you make a post? Can you get something going? These guys have been feeding me the best promo material ever, and I'm super excited about the numbers about it. So I post a lot of matchups back to back.
Yeah.
I remember posting a couple on YouTube. Both of these guys, like, every time I post, they're guaranteed about 10,000 views, really high interactions. The comments are going crazy with both of their fan bases and them mixing it up with people. And I just love that both of these guys are coming in and selling the fight. And I hope that, some people are probably looking on it and it's just like, oh man, they're acting wacky. They're doing these skits. They're doing this. But also at the same time, it's like they're getting so many people. Like when I talk to people that don't know cage fights or don't watch fighting, and I show them Jack Carney's fighting Pat Casey, and I'll explain to them why it's fun and why it's cool and why it's going to be great. But then I show them Jerry Muse dancing out, and then I show Aaron Hughes throwing bombs and banging bombs. It's like, yeah, I got to see that. I got to see those dudes fight.
It's tapping into something like, the Super Bowl. It's like the reason why the Super Bowl is the biggest event on the planet is because I again, don't cancel me now, but like you get the moms, like the stay-at-home moms watch the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Or like, and I think maybe that phrase needs to come up with today's day and age, but it gets the casuals to watch.
Yeah.
It gets the stay-at-home moms to watch Aaron Hughes.
Well, no, but I'm just saying, like that's what they say about the Super Bowl. Like everybody who watches football would watch the Super Bowl. I mean, of any type of football game.
Mm-hmm.
But what makes the Super Bowl special is that everybody, it doesn't matter who you are, you watch
got
it.
a Super Bowl
And
square.
so
Everybody,
even if you don't watch it. So like, and that's what you have to, like, that makes something bigger than normal. Like Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey, like people that would never be into fighting wanted to see those guys fight. And I think what you're kind of touching on in the social media age is like Aaron Hughes and Jerry Muse. They're like the dancing guy and the banging moms guy. Like that's just cool.
Also, not to take away to make it the fight. The reason why this fight is also as awesome is because the year that they've had growing up to this, Jerry Muse came back at the top of the year, completely owned MMA for the first week. And then Aaron Hughes did the same thing right on the back of him. So they've been on an upward trajectory kind of alongside each other.
And let's not forget that Muse is 5-0.
And it's a 100% finish rate between the both of them.
Yes.
Neither one of these guys has had a victory go to the decision.
And
Jerry
Hughes is
Hughes
on a 3-0 win streak, 3-fight win streak. Obviously, Muse is 5-0, 5-fight win streak.
Yeah, Hughes is riding high right now. Like you said, 3-fight win streak, 3-fight finishes, and Muse submits everybody that comes across his way. So this one is one right here. Muse gets to 6-0. He is in prime position to be on a short list to a call, even though he's got to be over 32. I think he is,
he's also
32,
made his
33.
intentions clear.
But it doesn't.
Dylan Dennis.
Yeah, he called him Dylan.
Call him Dylan Dennis out. I don't know what the game plan is, but we're talking about guys that could be right there come this time next year when they're looking for new fighters on the contender. Jerry Muse, he might be a little over the age limit that they're looking for right there, but if he maintains an undefeated record and starts beating guys with 100% finish rates like Aaron Hughes, then he's on the list of getting called right there. Aaron Hughes, right in the age range. He keeps this stride going, keeps this momentum going, hands Jerry Muse his first loss, rattles off a couple more wins. He's sitting at 7-3, 8-3, something like that. Has already suffered his loss and suffered his ticks. He's right on the cusp as well. So there's a lot of momentum riding on this fight. They're both playing it up on social media, and everybody's loving that. But what I like is the 100% finish rate. Both guys riding momentum, and we'll see what happens when they meet in the middle. But
Hughes said he's not getting a
six.
6-0. He sacrificed his entire life for this. No man that does this part-time is taking it from him. So there you go from Aaron Hughes. And I think what Nick's touching on too is like embrace the social media, embrace the entertainment part of this game. And I've said before, the stage is yours. When you have a fight with Cage Titans, we're just putting the platform and the stage together. What you do with it, that's on you guys. Like, the party who, and I see Cleveland McLean on, we're gonna, one of his teammates from Fusion, like the party came up and made the moment from the press conference to the weigh-in to his walkout to the fight to the lead up. Remember, he was talking about Pat Gilbreth because they bumped it up 5 pounds. Then he's like, I'm going to come and beat your ass, you fatty, or something like even the build up before this November 11th is when you get to like the fight. But everything from when that fight is signed, the stage is yours. You got the eyeballs on you, and make it your own, make the moment worth it, and make the most of it. And all those things are going to add to like what Brett Layton was on earlier. He was asking about sponsor money and things of that nature. That's all going to come. Trust me, like when Nick shows that these videos are doing, 10,000, we had, 800,000 impressions in our last month or whatever it was. It's like, you'll have these numbers to go to sponsors now and be like, listen, I post, 3 times a week. I do a creator type skit that I do on my social media that we share with Cage Titans. And then this is going to get you these many eyeballs. It helps you guys fighters as well. Helps you sell tickets, sponsor money, and just overall hype. So it's a good thing.
And it's also, it's fun. And it's the biggest thing that I like about both of them is that they're completely comfortable with either being loved or being hated. But the thing is, people are watching them.
Tito Ortiz used to say that all the time. He's like, love me or hate me, you're tuning in to watch me. Either get my ass kicked or you see my hand raised. And that's the thing. Chael Sonnen says it as well. Like, you got to invoke some sort of emotion. And these guys definitely are, because I see the comments in Muse, like, they're like, who does your makeup and all this crazy shit. And then like Hughes, like the banging mom stuff and throwing bombs. It's invoking some sort of emotion, and it's getting people to want to see that fight and want to see how it's going to turn out. Whether they want to see Muse get his ass kicked or Hughes get his ass kicked, they want to see one of them get their ass kicked. So there you go. We spent enough time on it. I said we were going to only do an hour, 7 minutes over. Pat Casey versus Jack Condon. For those who did not hear the announcement that I made the other day, Joe Giannetti has vacated the welterweight title. He essentially, after his loss, when he lost the lightweight title, he said, if I can't be beaten lightweights, I have no business carrying a welterweight title. I want to focus on my own weight division, which is lightweight, and trying to get back and recapture that title. So he vacated that belt, and Pat Casey and Jack Condon will be fighting over that vacant title. Unbelievable fight. We're going to be breaking that down. We'll hopefully get these guys on Table Titans in the next few weeks. We'll be going into details on that. And then our main event, Cleveland McLean, coming up from Fusion XL down in Florida to take on Mitch Raposo out of Regiment Training Center for our flyweight title. I think the last person to hold the flyweight title was Darren Mima, where he won that in
Against
probably 2000.
Remo Cardarelli, 2015. I want to say that fight happened.
So this belt has not. It was won, and I do not believe ever. Cage Titans 30, yes, 2016.
That's what I said.
So
Right?
that was when he won the title, and it's funny they don't even have it as a title fight, but it was a title fight on Tapology. But either way, that was the last time that was the first time it was ever fought for, and it was never defended. So this belt has sat stagnant for the last 7+ years. And we will be crowning a new flyweight champion, Cleveland McLean, taking on Mitch Raposo. Those obviously from New England probably know Mitch from the Ultimate Fighter, Dana White's Contender Series. Those who don't know Cleveland, he's almost a 40-fight professional veteran. This guy's been around the block, fought anybody and everybody, and he's teammates with our favorite adopted son that's not from New England. He's teammates with the party, Joe Penafiel.
Party coming up with it?
I don't. Maybe he'll be cornering him. Who knows?
Oh boy,
we'll see what happens.
Security ready.
Get security.
I'd love to see the party.
It's
up here
funny
not
if I
fighting,
if I
just
scroll
hanging
up
out
here.
partying.
We were going to try to get him to commentate one time, but I don't know.
That could be fun too.
So he said, I want to see my here's I'm scrolling all the way back to the beginning of the show. I want to see my dude Cleveland McLean make a highlight reel.
Hey, that's party talking about it. Cleveland McLean's got the ability to do so.
I got to throw this up there, and then Joe Pedophile. Mitch Raposo, Joe Pedophile could have been your fight, you pussy.
Oh, shit.
So that was kind of
that
fun.
one missed it.
Yeah.
I missed that, but I'd love to see Pedophile versus Mitch, but I'm excited to see Cleveland McLean make his Cage Titans debut real quick before we jump onto this fight. I'm stoked for the KC and Jack Congdon fight. Jack Congdon, undefeated, never tasted defeat before. Amateur or pro. I love the jump that he's making up to fight for this title, and he is definitely one of the names right here you got to circle for. If he fights on every Cage Titans card all the way through summer, get him to 7-0, top prospect, 25, 26 years old, defending a title like that, that's undeniable. That might even skip the contender and get right to the call, and he's got all the chops to do so. Pat Casey cracks that goose egg, though, runs amok. We've seen guys getting signed at 14-7. TJ Brown just fought. He got signed in the UFC at like 14-8. Off the contender series. It can be done. There are many different demographics that don't fit the bill that Dana's looking for, but if you show up and you bring something to the table and you get that opportunity, that's it. And even though Pat Casey's coming off a loss to Sam Watford, who's fighting earlier on the card, this is an opportunity that he couldn't say no to. Definitely deserving of it with the streak that he was on beforehand. So I do like this fight. And Cleveland McLean, another similar situation. He's on a 2-fight skid right now, but if you look at the streak that he was on before with the finishes that he had against the caliber opponents that he had and the caliber that he lost to, this is an opportunistic situation for him that he finds himself in to take on the surging red-hot Mitch Raposo, 3-fight finish streak since he's been back from the contender series, and his stint in the Ultimate Fighter is looking and is doing everything necessary to make himself undeniable. He was always undeniable before with how he was pitching shutouts and shutting everybody's game down, whoever he fought, kicked up the intensity and the aggressiveness, got some finishes, kissed the next level. Wasn't quite ready at that point in time, but he's doing all the right things and leveling the competition in outstanding ways. And if he continues that here, you're looking at somebody else who's on the short list to get a direct call to the UFC, if not another shot in the contender series. And Cleveland McLean, he's right in that wheelhouse as well.
Just kind of give everybody some input on Cleveland who might not know him. I'll just bring up a name that he's fought and actually beat. He beat Carlos Lazoya.
That's really
over at Fury FC.
Yeah, that's his last win. I was
for those, because a lot of people know Carlos because he's made his way here and he landed at Lozon. He's also a trainer at Lakeville MMA. He's also trains at Mama's Basement with those guys.
Yep.
And if you've trained with him, I hear how much of a beast he is, and I've seen him. And Cleveland Hose got the nod against him. So that's just kind of the level of fighter that Cleveland is.
He also has a Sports Center top 10 highlight finish.
Cleveland does?
Cleveland does. Yeah, he was a it's one of his Titan FC finishes. I think it was a knee or a head kick, but yeah, dude. I mean, it's like only casuals look at records. If you look at a guy like Cleveland, you look like a guy at Patton, and you're arguing with him, why does that guy get a shot? It's like, do you not watch any of his fights or know how talented he is? Yeah, that's why they're getting the shot.
I'm trying to find that top 10.
Yeah, it was on his Instagram. He posted it. I think that's his MMA profile. I think if you go to his Instagram, which is also Cleveland, I tell a lot of fighters this, please just shorten it to your name with MMA at the end so you're easily searchable. Pat Gilbride, he used to have a ridiculous name too. It's now PJG MMA. Brett Layton, same thing. Now it's Brett Layton MMA, very easy to find.
Maybe I should do that.
I said to the guys before, another thing that I give to the social media world is that try to make all your social media kind of match.
Yeah.
Some guys will have I remember Cupcakes was one guy I talked to. He was like Cupcakes MMA. Then he was like Johnny Cupcakes. Then he was like Bake something. On every social media platform, he was something different. Is this it?
No, it's a little bit further down.
I'm just going to share my screen, and then we're going to leave on this note. So we're going to show you this little highlight just to kind of get your appetite for this fight. And I'm doing the pee dance because I got to pee and I'm trying to get out of here. All right, so here we go.
Cheryl just broke me with a comment there.
Oh, there it is. See the little Sports Center right thing right
Where? Down?
Right, to the right, up.
Right.
Okay.
Oy, step through of the right hand. Oy, that's pretty gorgeous.
He's got like
Oh, there you got it.
So we have two flyweights that can absolutely
Crack.
This is not going to be a points fight, what people say about or used to say about the flyweights. No, man, this is going to be high flying, high action.
Yeah, so this should be definitely a fun one. Top plays. Number 5. I don't even think we've ever had a Cage Titans guy in the top 5.
Oh, we can fix that.
We can fix that, yeah. We get Millie hits all the time, though.
Yeah,
Pat Casey hit a Millie.
To be also, ESPN actually ripped off one day our entire page and then reposted it as one long video early on ESPN MMA. So it's not like, oh, we made sports out of it. It's like, no, ESPN MMA took our whole page and posted.
I do remember that. Yeah, I do remember that. What's his name? Pico said that Nick should charge $10 for advice and $1 for every 500 likes on a
You ain't
post.
getting a dime out of me, brother.
And there you go. Zach Cyril said frozen pizza.
Payout than what social media gives.
So as the lovers come for on Table Tides, we have a hater over here calling you a hipster. The hipster. He called you a hipster. Nick does train though. He does train. He's not just a casual.
He's not a casual. I will give him casual. He's definitely not a casual. That was funny though.
I do love Grizzly. If you don't follow Grizzly, you got to go G&G. They always have some great comments, and they're not afraid to press some buttons.
Oh, that was
they
great.
definitely throw some stuff. But there you go. So there's some of the pro fights. We do have a couple other fights that we're working on. I know Marcel Romero is looking at 145. So if anybody in that area, we're trying to get him on the card. And I have Jacobo Opito's name that I'm looking on.
Baby.
So I do have at least a couple more pro fights that I'm working on. And I'm hoping to kind of tie up all the amateur fights this week. So I'll have some to announce all the amateur fights next week. So there you have it, guys. That's the card. I'm going to go down it quick, and then we're going to wrap. Mike Taylor versus Sean Schubert. First ever MMA glove Muay Thai fight going down. Professional. Then we got at 160, Kyle Pafal out of Nostos taking on Oscar Vera out of Bronx Combat Factory. Next up, we got at 145. We had him in studio today. Brett Layton taking on Randy Francis, both making their pro debuts, double pro debut. Then we have Sam Watford out of FAA Connecticut taking on Aaron Earthquake Trussell. I just feel like I have to say Earthquake every time I say his name. Then in the heavyweight division, we got Alex Davidson out of Nostos taking on Hassan the Bounty Hunter Graham. Then we got Casey Norton, 3-1 out of Ascension Athletics, taking on undefeated 4-0 Joe Poria. Then we have undefeated Jerry Muse taking on Aaron Hughes. And then the two title fights. Pat Casey out of G&G taking on Jack Condon for the vacant welterweight title. And then in the main event, Cleveland McLean out of Fusion Excel taking on Mitch Raposo for the flyweight title. There's some of the 9 pro fights that we have booked so far. We got at least 1 or 2 more coming. And we got a bunch of amateur fights that we're going to be booking this week. And that's your Cage Titan 62 card.
I dig it. It's looking schmexy, and it's only going to get better, especially with some names that you dropped that you're looking to match up. I'm stoked. Can't wait to see the videos drop from Cage Titan 61 because those are some banger fights. Definitely check those out on YouTube. We got a great production team that cuts them up. Shout out to Joe Leonard and everybody on the backside that is not here right now. You do great work with that as well. We've got 1 month till fight night. I can't fucking wait to close out this year. It's been a crazy year. The award show is definitely going to be coming. We got 1 more show before we get to pick the nominees for knockout of the year.
Knockout of the year. Who's else?
I mean,
something could happen this show.
It's got to be tough. But how many times does this shit happen where we go back and we remember all the fights that already took place and we're like, oh damn, we got some competition. So stay tuned for that. This was I think, you can quote me if I'm wrong, but I would not be surprised. Off the top of my head, we had more fights take place in 2023 than any other year. I think with the amount of fights and the doubleheader that we had, we came back hard in the paint in 2021, but we only had a half a year to work. 2022, we kind of went hard in the paint, but we had some cards that didn't have as many fights on them. But 2023 with the doubleheader, 17 fights, 14 fights. I think this is the most amount of fights, amateur and pro, that we have had in a calendar year. We're going to have to run the sheets on it, but yeah, it's going to be quite an award ceremony because I think we've got at least 4 knockouts. We got November 11th. That's what we're focusing on. That's what we're focusing on right now. I'm going to say it because Nick's not going to say it because he's not as pushy as me. Fighters, get yourself out on your social media platforms. Pump up these fights. Take it from us.
we build this platform for you guys to get your names out there. And every fighter who's thinking no one wants to see me post on social media, trust me, your friend group is probably wishing they could be you and fighting in a cage, or they're very proud of you. If they don't want to fight, they're probably very proud of you and what you're going out there doing. Don't be ashamed of that.
Yeah.
Bring their fans and your family in on the process, and it just makes it that much sweeter. And it really was what set Cage Titans apart, the community aspect. Like, everybody in there is really invested in their fights. They're not just some random people that have no ties. And I think that's what our fan base is all about. So bring us in, make sure you collab us, make sure you tag us. And fighters, if you're out there right now being like, oh, they don't post much about me, we only can post what you post. So I hear that argument a lot. You post a lot about this guy. It's like, well, if you don't post, we have nothing to reshare and repost. So get out there for Nick.
Yeah.
Hit him in the DM. Send him your shit.
Yeah, if you don't know, it's been a while since you said it. We don't repost unless you tag Cage Titans. There's no, we're not going to look around for stuff to post if you don't tag us for fear of kind of showing favoritism or whatnot. Or if you tag us, we'll repost.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Easy.
Nick, anything else for you?
Nothing. Just make sure everybody's following the pages. We have some great content lined up and stuff coming up in the next few weeks. And hell yeah, dude! Just can't wait to see. Just can't wait for fighting.
Yeah, and we dropped the poster today. Here's the splash pad.
Tickets going on sale next week, or they're on sale. They're on sale online, but tickets in hand next week.
So
Get them off
the
the
graphics are up. So there's the graphics. You'll be seeing all of our normal posting that we usually do. So you'll be checking that out, and all that graphic stuff will be coming up this week. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Cage Titans.
Cheers, everybody. We're out.
There we go. Shit, you repost my post. There you go, guys.
You Mike Wazowski'd me. You put the poster over my face before cheers, and I like it.
We back home. We back home.